Before the beginning of each session, we shall draw your attention by using the ship bell that is located in the foyer in the first floor. At the beginning of our program, I will ask you to rise as we welcome the Minister of National Defense, Dr. João Gomes Cravinho, that you have already met yesterday at the Presidency. Presentations and photos are to be delivered in CHENS 19 pens during the closing session. Handover ceremony photos will be posted in CHENS website. When the conference ends, 2 changing rooms will be available at the hotel. My staff will assist you. Last but not least, restrooms are upstairs in front of the bilateral meetings rooms. Thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you all a very interesting day with lively discussions. Ladies and gentlemen, Admirals, the Chief of the Portuguese Navy Staff, Admiral António Mendes Calado, is now going to open this seminar.
Dear Commanders and Chiefs of European Navies, distinguished guests, I would like to start by expressing my warmest welcome to Lisbon. And it is an honor both for me and for the Portuguese Navy to hold the presidency of the Chiefs of European Navies Forum, and as such, I'm pleased to welcome you on board our annual conference. Ladies and gentlemen, the 21st century is frequently addressed as the century of the seas. Current figures show that over 90% of the world's trade is carried by sea. Actually, almost everything that moves between continents travels across the sea, thus making maritime transportation essential to the world's economy and by far the most cost-effective way to move tradable goods, energy commodities, and raw materials around the world. Furthermore, 99% of international data and internet communications are transmitted through submarine communication cables stretched across the bottom of the oceans, composing an interlocked grid with hundreds of thousands of miles long, where data travels at speeds almost as fast as speed of light. Together, these 2 examples demonstrate the relevance of the seas for the sustainability of the economic and digital society model in which we live. Along with the opportunities, the fact is that risks and threats are increasing in the maritime environment, from natural hazards associated with climatic changes to the risks and threats arising from the intense use of the sea, such as marine pollution and depletion of marine resources, including illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. Together with this, we are seeing direct threats to the use of the sea or threats using the sea as an access, such as maritime terrorism, arms proliferation, trafficking, irregular migration, and piracy. Moreover, the increased capability to explore the deep sea will further bolster competition for oceanic resources, and the attempted political and economic occupation of large areas of what have until now been considered international waters and shipping routes, thus increasing risks and threats arising from interstate disputes and conflicts. It is in this complex and challenging environment that our navies operate, sometimes alone, others in alliance or coalition, mostly focused on guaranteeing the use of the sea and the defense of national and collective interests. As you all know, CHENS 19 conference theme is Unmanned Systems' Role in Future Naval Operations. I strongly believe unmanned systems are game changers and will already have dramatically transformed the way navies plan and conduct operations around the world. Presently, unmanned systems operating from a wide range of surface ships and submarines are broadening established capabilities across fleets, from area surveillance, target acquisition and reconnaissance, to intelligent collection and communication relay, through search and rescue, mine countermeasures, and ordnance delivery against surface, ground, and submerged targets, just to mention a few. In the near future, we will have to address issues like systems integration, networked multi-domain operations, and artificial intelligence, along with the ability to survive and effectively operate in disruptive environments such as communication, GPS jamming, and spoofing, or under cyber threats. Delivering unmanned systems is critical if we are to respond effectively to the challenges of the future, namely those by the return or emergence of highly capable players in the oceans and seas that border European nations. Ladies and gentlemen, in the Portuguese Navy, unmanned capabilities are included in the force structure since 2004, conforming to the perception that these systems will fill capability gaps in the maritime domain, initially in mine and anti-submarine warfare, alongside with ISR, thus contributing to an extended maritime situational awareness. As a follow-on, in 2008, the Navy acquired the first unmanned underwater system for mine warfare, which is now fully operational as part of an autonomous mine warfare detachment. Simultaneously, we have been actively conducting concept development and experimentation activities in this area, as you've seen yesterday. Notwithstanding, I must recognize that our efforts requires scientific engineering and technical expertise, as well as partnerships and cooperation. Therefore, since 2006, a partnership with the Faculty of Engineering of Oporto University, FEUP, led to the production of the SEACON series of unmanned underwater systems. This partnership was the basis for the organization in 2010 of the first recognized environmental picture, REP, exercise, bringing together academia, research centers, industry, and end users. One of the most effective and fruitful partners in this field has been the NATO Center for Maritime Research and Experimentation, CMRE, with its world-class scientific research and experimentation capabilities and its ability to deliver innovative and field-tested technology on behalf of NATO and allied nations. This is why the CMRE has been participating in the REP exercises almost since the very beginning, being a co-organizer with the Portuguese Navy since 2014. Along with the academia and the research centers, the industry is also playing a vital role in concept developing and prototyping maritime unmanned systems, responding to the Navy's operational requirements while using Navy assets for at-sea experimentation, development, and evaluation of both systems and operational concepts. This network also allows researchers to understand industry motivations, needs, and expectations, therefore paving the way for sustainable research partnerships. Following NATO's decision to reinforce the Alliance maritime posture, Portugal is a founding nation of the Maritime Unmanned Systems Initiative, established last year to jointly investigate and explore, through a multinational cooperation framework, specific collaboration opportunities for the introduction of maritime unmanned systems within NATO, addressing .MLPFI challenges. The initiative's main objective is to accelerate the delivery of alliance and partner nations' maritime capabilities, closing any shortfalls as rapidly as possible to maintain battle-winning advantage. Maritime Unmanned Systems Initiative has considered REP exercise a key element in achieving the objectives through operational experimentation. Therefore, the exercise has evolved to become an opportunity for multi-domain unmanned systems test and experimentation, being renamed Recognized Environmental Picture, augmented by Maritime Unmanned Systems, REP-MUS. The first edition of REP-MUS exercise will take place this September in Lisbon and off Portugal West Coast, and is aimed to bring together academia, industry, and the operational communities, work in developing and testing operational concepts and requirements, technology advances, new developments in sensors, actuators, command and control, communications, as well as statics procedures on maritime unmanned systems. Dear commanders and chiefs of European navies and distinguished guests, new technologies in maritime domain challenge the navies to play a decisive role in research, concept development, and experimentation of unmanned systems. It is my firm conviction that this high-level forum will stimulate discussion and the sharing of experiences and knowledge in a way that might deliver new and valuable perspectives over the role we foresee the unmanned systems in the maritime operations. This is also a distinctive opportunity to gather this community by promoting bilateral dialogues, exploring multinational paths, and above all, strengthening the existing relationships among us. Bearing in mind that no nation or organization can face alone the challenges of the 21st century, enhanced cooperation and common understanding amongst our navies will build a richer and broader view over the common maritime domain and its future. I hope you can benefit the most from this conference, its meetings, and from enticing and cosmopolitan city of Lisbon, from where the Portuguese navigators gave new worlds to the world. Thank you for being part of this endeavor, and have a nice conference.
Admirals, ladies and gentlemen, we have now 5 minutes of waiting time for the arrival of the Minister of Defense. I draw your attention for the pictures of yesterday. the Minister of National Defence of Portugal, João Cravinho.
Please be seated. Admiral Calado, Chief of Staff of the Portuguese Navy, admirals, commanders, chiefs of the European navies, distinguished guests. It is a great pleasure to open this distinguished conference and to express how honored Portugal is to have had the opportunity to lead this forum over the last year, 26 years after our first CHENS chairmanship. We do so at a time when the oceans gain renewed attention and centrality for our societies, and the role of our navies is naturally central to this concern. The exercise of responsible sovereignty by coastal states is a major contribution for regional and international peace and security, be it from the perspective of the environmental sustainability, of the economic use of marine resources, or from the perspective of the security of global trade through maritime routes, including the security of underwater digital communication systems. Portugal is well aware of these challenges. We have recently adopted a new law on military procurement for the next 12 years, that corresponds, inter alia, to our commitment to the Atlantic Alliance of increasing our military spending. The approach that we have adopted aimed at developing an integrated view of the necessary capacities for each of the branches of the armed forces. And given the importance that we attach to our maritime heritage and to our maritime future, our medium-term investment plans naturally seek to strengthen our naval capabilities. In particular, we have been inspired by the immense challenges emerging from the vast maritime spaces under our jurisdiction, sovereignty, or national responsibility. Portugal's exclusive economic zone is 1 million square kilometers. In other words, 18 times the size of our national territory. And we are responsible for search and rescue missions in no less than 5.7 million square kilometers, an area which is 62 times our national territory, and leading us to have a maritime border or bordering area responsibility with distant countries in the Americas and Africa. The most relevant challenge in this regard, however, is the expected enlargement of our continental shelf, which, when confirmed by the United Nations, will mean that Portugal will have a continental shelf in an area of 4.1 million square kilometers, representing 44 times our national territory. The Portuguese government is therefore fully invested in creating the necessary conditions for taking full advantage of these important opportunities and responsibilities. We are stimulated by the Portuguese Navy's engagement in the development of technological solutions for these tasks. Research and development has become an important part of the everyday work of our armed forces, and more needs to be done, namely in the development of partnerships with higher education institutions, as well as private sector actors, and the armed forces of allies and partners in order to help us push this forward, this agenda. In this day and age, the challenges that we face in managing our ocean responsibilities, military challenges, scientific challenges, economic challenges, environmental challenges, all of these are far beyond the ambitions of any single set of forces and capabilities. We are fortunate that as we come together in this context of European navies, navies of the countries of the European Union and of NATO, we are coming together as the closest knit set of allies and partners in the world. The fairly numerous navies present here today represent countries that are far from homogeneous, and yet they all share the wisdom of knowing that their best strategic decisions have been taken in coming together over the past 70 years. In many cases, including in the case of Portugal, beginning back in 1949 when NATO was created, but continuing all the way up to the present day when we have the pleasure of welcoming Montenegro to our ranks. Admirals, ladies and gentlemen, as regards the Portuguese Navy, I would like to highlight the impressive work being conducted at our Hydrographic Institute. This is today a central institution in the promotion of our national maritime resources and opportunities, and it is an institution that has a great deal to offer to our allies and to our partners. Central to this work is the application that we have submitted to NATO to become a center of excellence, with a view to sharing the geospatial, the meteorological, and the oceanographic information that is developed at the GeoMetoc, which is a center inside the Hydrographic Institute. We hope the GeoMetoc will become NATO's maritime, geospatial, meteorological, and oceanographic center of excellence, capitalizing on the high-quality information that is generated by the Portuguese Armed Forces, particularly our Navy, at the Hydrographic Institute. We would like to make this work available for operational and strategic use for all NATO allies and also for other partners. I hope that in the course of these days in Lisbon, it is possible for you to familiarize yourselves with this resource of which we are very proud. The central topic for this conference is maritime unmanned systems. This theme points to the enormous unexplored potential that derives from the technological advances that will mark the future of defense systems. The ability to benefit from these advances in the safe exploration of the oceans requires that we pool our efforts. Both the Atlantic Alliance and the European Union have shown awareness over the last years of the importance that maritime security has for their respective security strategies. Both organizations have adopted maritime strategies and have taken decisions at the operational level to strengthen their presence and capabilities in the defense of the Atlantic and other maritime environments in their surroundings. From the viewpoint of a country like Portugal, whose very identity is profoundly linked to the Atlantic Ocean, these are indeed encouraging steps. We hope and expect to continue promoting the interest and attention of our allies and partners in the European Union and NATO for the challenges and opportunities emerging from the Atlantic in close partnership with our African and South American partners. We look out west to an Atlantic Ocean that has both a horizontal and a vertical axis, and along both of these axes, we believe that common learning and cooperation can be the foundation for increased security for all. This is why Portugal is currently in the process of establishing an Atlantic Defense Capacity Building Center, one that can facilitate common knowledge for the benefit of all across these two axes of the Atlantic Ocean. This is a center which will be established in the near future based in the Azores Islands. But we also maintain active collaboration in the Mediterranean as well as the Baltic and around the Black Sea, as is currently the case in Romania, so as to strengthen the security of the Euro-Atlantic space in the context of a 360-degree vision of this security. Hopefully the conclusions that you will reach over this day of conference will contribute to a shared understanding of how maritime security in this vast area can be increased. Our great national poet, Luís de Camões, defined our country as being the place where land ends and the sea begins. In doing so, he was making reference to something that every Portuguese knows. The sea is central to our national identity. The sea has been a protagonist of our history and destiny as a nation for many centuries. We believe that it is equally central to our vision of our common future. As sailors, you all know that this is a land of sailors, and so we are very confident that you will feel at home with us here in Portugal. I wish you all a fruitful day of work. Thank you for your attention.